Peru is one of those countries that has genuinely everything. Ancient Inca cities, one of the world's great food scenes, a huge chunk of the Amazon, deep canyons, high deserts, and a stretch of the Andes that runs the whole length of the country. Almost everyone comes for one thing and leaves realizing they only scratched the surface. Welcome to Optimized Travel Destinations. My name is Ricky, and I am part of the Optimized Travel team. We help travelers plan amazing trips through our concierge service, and our team has worked together to list the absolute best places Peru has to offer. These are the top 10 places to visit in Peru, counting down from 10 to 1. Number 10, Nazca. Nazca is on the southern desert coast, about 7 hours south of Lima by road. It's famous for one thing, the Nazca lines, an enormous set of ancient geoglyphs scratched into the desert floor more than 1,000 years ago. Nobody fully agrees on why they were made, which is a big part of the appeal. The little plane ride over them is bumpy and brief, but seeing these things with your own eyes is one of those genuinely strange travel moments. It's dry and clear most of the year, so timing is easy. I'd give it a night, mostly to catch a morning flight over the lines before the desert wind picks up. Number 9, Huaraz and the Cordillera Blanca. Huaraz sits high in the Andes, about 8 hours north of Lima, and it's the trekking capital of Peru. The town itself is nothing special, but it's the gateway to the Cordillera Blanca, the highest tropical mountain range in the world, full of glaciers, turquoise lakes, and snow peaks over 6,000 meters. The day hike up to Laguna 69, a vivid blue lake beneath the ice, is one of the best in South America, and the multi-day Santa Cruz trek is a classic. If you love mountains, this is Peru at its most spectacular and its least crowded. The dry season from May to September is the only sensible window for trekking. Take the altitude seriously and give yourself a couple of days to acclimate first. I'd plan at least 3 or 4 nights. Number 8, Chachapoyas and Kuélap. Chachapoyas is way up in the northern cloud forest, a long haul from Lima but increasingly reachable by air. This is the land of the so-called Cloud People, a pre-Inca culture that left behind some extraordinary sights. The star is Kuélap, a vast stone fortress on a mountain ridge that predates Machu Picchu and gets a tiny fraction of the visitors. Nearby is Gokta, one of the tallest waterfalls in the world, and cliffs dotted with ancient sarcophagi. It's remote, green, and genuinely off the beaten track. The drier months, from May to September, make the mountain roads easier. I'd stay like 3 nights and take the cable car up to Kuélap rather than the long walk. Number 7, Lima. Lima is the capital, sprawled along the Pacific coast, and it's where almost every trip to Peru begins. Most people treat it as a quick stopover, but that's a mistake, because Lima is one of the best food cities on the planet. This is the home of ceviche and pisco sours, and it has several of the world's top-ranked restaurants alongside brilliant cheap eats on every corner. Beyond the food, the cliff-top neighborhood of Miraflores looks over the ocean, and Bohemian Barranco next door is full of street art, bars, and old mansions. My favorite thing about Lima is simply eating your way through it. The coast is grayest from June to September, and sunniest from December to April. I'd plan 2 nights, built almost entirely around meals and a sunset walk along the cliffs. Number 6, Colca Canyon. The Colca Canyon is a few hours north of Arequipa in the southern highlands, and it's one of the deepest canyons in the world. The scenery is huge, terraced valley walls farmed since Inca times, traditional villages with old white churches, and hot springs to soak in. But the real reason people come is the condors. At the Cruz del Condor viewpoint, gray Andean condors ride the morning thermals right past you, sometimes close enough to hear the wind in their wings. It's a genuine wildlife spectacle. But go in the dry season and get to the Condor viewpoint early in the morning when they're most active. I plan 2 nights, ideally staying down in the valley itself. Number 5, the Peruvian Amazon. Around 60% of Peru is Amazon rainforest, and there are 2 main ways in. Puerto Maldonado in the south is the easiest. A short flight from Cusco puts you in some of the most biodiverse jungle on Earth, famous for its macaw clay licks where hundreds of parrots gather at once. Further north, Iquitos is the largest city in the world you can't drive to, reachable only by boat or plane, and the launch point for deeper river journeys. You're looking at monkeys, caimans, pink dolphins, and an overwhelming density of life. The dry season from May to October is easiest for wildlife and trails. I'd give it at least 3 nights at a proper jungle lodge. 1 night barely counts out here. Number 4, Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world, up on the Altiplano near the Bolivian border, reached from the town of Puno. It's an almost impossibly blue expanse of water at nearly 3,800 meters, and it's home to some fascinating communities. The Uros people live on floating islands built entirely from reeds, which they've done for centuries. And out on Tequila Island, the locals maintain a traditional way of life and produce some of the finest textiles in the Andes. Staying overnight with an island family is one of the most memorable things you can do in Peru. The dry season is clearest and calmest on the water. I'd stay 2 nights, including 1 stay on an island, rather than just a day tour from Puno. Number 3, Arequipa. Arequipa is Peru's second city, sitting in the south beneath a trio of volcanoes. It's widely considered the most beautiful city in the country, and it makes a strong case. The whole historic center is built from sillar, a pale white volcanic stone that gives Arequipa its nickname, the White City, and glows in the sun. The Plaza de Armas is one of the grandest in South America, framed by arcades and a huge cathedral, with the perfect cone of the Misti volcano rising behind it. The highlight for me is the Santa Catalina Monastery, a huge convent that's basically a small city within the city, with its own streets and plazas painted in deep terracotta and blue. It's genuinely unlike anywhere else. Arequipa is also famous for its bold regional food, so eat well while you're here. The climate is mild and sunny most of the year, which is part of the charm. I'd plan 2 nights and use it as your springboard for the Colca Canyon just to the north. Number 2, Cusco and the Sacred Valley. Cusco was the capital of the entire Inca Empire, and it's the base for almost everyone heading to Machu Picchu. It sits high in the southern Andes, and it's far more than just a jumping-off point. It's one of the most atmospheric cities in South America. The city itself is a beautiful layering of history, Inca stone foundations with Spanish colonial buildings on top, a stunning central plaza, and lively neighborhoods like San Blas full of workshops and cafes. Above the city, the massive Inca fortress of Sacsayhuaman shows off stonework so precise you can't fit a blade between the blocks. Then there's the Sacred Valley, Valle Sagrado, a lush stretch of the Urubamba River dotted with extraordinary sights. The terraced fortress of Ollantaytambo, the market town of Pisac, and the surreal salt pans of Huaraz. It's lower and warmer than Cusco, which makes it the perfect place to acclimatize before the main event. The dry season from May to September is peak but most reliable, and give yourself a day or 2 to adjust to the altitude. I'd plan at least 3 or 4 nights across Cusco and the valley before heading to Machu Picchu. Before I reveal number 1, I want to take a moment to tell you about why we made this video. Peru is genuinely tricky to plan. The altitude needs proper acclimatization, Machu Picchu tickets and the Inca Trail sell out months ahead, the internal distances are big, and the coast and the mountains are opposite best seasons. And getting that order and the timing right is most of the work. And that is exactly what Optimized Travel was built for. So head to optimizedtravel.com to find out more or click the link in the description. And now, number 1. Number 1, Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is the reason most people come to Peru in the first place, and it genuinely lives up to every bit of the hype. It sits on a ridge high in the cloud forest above the sacred valley, Valle Sagrado, reached by train to the town of Aguas Calientes, and then a short climb or bus up to the site itself. Built by the Inca in the 15th century and never found by the Spanish, it was left to the jungle until it was brought to world attention just 100 years ago. What survives is astonishing, an entire stone city of temples, terraces, and plazas, perched between two peaks with the mountains falling away in every direction. On a good morning, watching the sun come up and burn the cloud off the ruins is one of the greatest sights on Earth. You can reach it the classic way by hiking the 4-day Inca Trail past other ruins and other high passes, or simply take the spectacular train through the valley. Both are wonderful. The train just needs less planning and no permits booked half a year ahead. The dry season from May to September has the most reliable weather, but the biggest crowds. Whatever you do, book your entry ticket and your train well in advance, and go early in the day or in late afternoon for the best light. I'd give the whole Machu Picchu leg at least a full day, ideally with a night in Aguas Calientes, so you're first up to the ruins. So, those are the 10 best places to visit in Peru. From the mysterious Nazca lines and the mountains above Huaraz, through the food of Lima and the blue water of Lake Titicaca, all the way to Cusco and the wonder of Machu Picchu. If you're ready to plan your trip, head to optimizedtravel.com. And let me know in the comments, which of these 10 would you visit first? Straight to Machu Picchu, or would you start somewhere off the trail? Drop it below. And don't forget to subscribe. We cover the world's best destinations every week.